It's been a long while since this view had been in sight. I have traveled to my country of origin various times in the past, but this time was different. It's been months and years of planning and strategizing as I grew through conscious learning and constant development in my work and as a Black African woman. This time had to be different.
Gùlíámìn Àyìndé Akínyẹmí kí Ọlọ́run bá Allah bá wa ṣe ìgẹ̀ fún màmá àti bàbá àbẹ̀ Ọlọ́run bá Allah kó túbọ̀ jẹ́ kí ẹ̀yin bàbá àti màmá.
Months before leaving the UK, I've managed to engage with various papers written by Nigerians from well-accredited journals on youth and unemployment in Nigeria. The interest stemmed off personal observations as I look at the ones younger than me, who may still be regarded as a Nigerian youth, not only within my immediate family, but within the extended, friends, and beyond. With these observations came questions, and it was time to get answers. I did not read an article to know that the Nigerian youth is an important facet to its growth and development as a nation. The country currently has the largest population of youth in the world, with about 70% of its population under the age of 30 and over 40% under the age of 15. With such a massive cut of a big population, it's no magic that the country is globally recognized as an economical asset. Its population a major factor, and the youth make the most of it. So how does a group with such a powerful status within the nation's population falls a victim of unemployment collectively? What are they doing about it? I had to find out.
My name is Azan Abolaji.
My name is Oyedele Wasiu Ayobami.
We are shoe cobblers.
Based on the work, like tí customer bá gbé iṣẹ́ wá fún wa pé ká bá wọn ṣiṣẹ́, a máa ní láti mọ taste wọn, nǹkan tó fẹ́ràn gan.
All you need pé ká lọ sọ́jà ká ra materials ẹ̀. So ó depend ọjà tá bá lọ àti pattern tó bá mú tá máa ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀. So tá bá ti rí nǹkan tí ó demand fún, ẹ̀tọ́ wa ní láti pé ẹ máa ní láti fún wa ní ọjọ́ báyìí kún ọjọ́ tá fún yín láti fi parí bàtà yẹn due to pé nǹkan tẹ́ DM fún yẹn a lè rí full materials rà ní area bí tá wà. So a máa ní láti lọ sí ọjà láti get ẹ̀. Àwọn customer mi wà wọ́n máa ní understanding, àwọn mi dẹ̀ wà wọ́n máa ní àwọn ò lè wait, which tẹ́ pé a deal pẹ̀lú quality a lè torí pé bí àwọn kanjú ká wá get wọ́n ní nǹkan tẹ́ pé ẹ̀rí ọkàn máa já wa bí kò ní satisfy àwọn náà. Okay, èmi àti partner mi sin àti wà náà maybe mo wà ní 15 years old, he was 16 years old then. So we never know each other. We met at work níbi tí ó ti ń kọ́ṣẹ́, ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n mẹ́mi náà wà láti wá kọ́ṣẹ́. So ó ti lò at least maybe 8 months, close to 1 year kó dédé pé mi dé ẹnu iṣẹ́ yẹn. So a máa gbé wọn rapport, ó máa fi ṣe hàn mi, èmi náà máa lo àwọn experience tí mo ní kó dédé pé mo wá kọ́ṣẹ́. Mo máa feel lọ pé ṣó wà okay pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí wọ́n kọ́ mi. So láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ̀rọ̀, but at that moment mo wà pẹ̀lú dad mi nígbà yẹn tí wọ́n fi mú wá síbi tí mo ti wá kọ́ṣẹ́. So oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ṣẹlẹ̀, mo fi sọ pé mi lè stay pẹ̀lú dad mi mọ́, pé mo láti padà wá sí ọ̀dọ̀ mọ́ mi. But torí friendship wa mo ní mi fẹ́ kó dúró sí ọ̀dọ̀ mọ́ mi torí báyìí ṣiṣẹ́ tán tá gbà yìí tá ṣe freedom ó náà fẹ́ stay sí Sango. Mo dẹ̀ jẹ́ kó yẹn gbé due tó ń gbé àdúgbò àtàwọn nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ àwọn challenges to face ó nílé dúró síbẹ̀. Okay, máa bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ mi ní ọ̀dọ̀ mọ́ mi níbi tí à ń gbé. So at the start láti bẹ̀ àjọ conclude àjọ máa ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi nǹkan. Mi pé òun lè lọ síta kó lọ ṣiṣẹ́, èmi máa wà nílé, ó lè wà WhatsApp post. So tó bá ti dín ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ máa wọnú DM tèmi, then we talk about it. Nǹkan tí ẹni bá fẹ́, so I'll get the materials. Tí bá ti get ẹ̀, màá pè, ó máa bá mi, màá fix ẹ̀, ó máa kó lọ. Tèmi náà bá ní, màá pè. You do it, àtijọ́ wà. A máa àfinú ara wa, ẹ̀dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé a lè ti pẹ́ gan. So a máa ń jà, a máa parẹ́. Mo respect ẹ̀ gan. So gbogbo nǹkan ni mo fi gbà fún. Lóòótọ́ èèyàn lè wà kó má ní ibi tó máa fi sí. So ó ní ibi tó náà fi sí. But I don't understand ara wa. A dẹ̀ ti jọ wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ yìí ó ti pẹ́ tó yẹ pé ọ̀gá wa gan believe pé èmi àti ẹ lè jọ wà. Wọ́n mú a lot of income wa. Èmi náà dẹ̀ máa mú a lot of income wa. We share everything we have together. So he was a nice and good brother to me. Ó taught me lóríṣiríṣi nǹkan àti lesson pa life. So I respect him a lot.
And nígbà yẹn dẹ̀ rí ta bẹ̀rẹ̀ even àwa gan àmọ̀ pa lè bá débi àtọ̀ cause gbà yẹn bí eré la fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ like bí eré náà dẹ̀ là ń bá lọ. Started from ta díẹ̀ a rí pé nǹkan tí a lè ṣe ta lè couple pẹ̀lú ni. Láti gbà yẹn tí bá rí ẹni tó gbé nǹkan fún mi like ó kọ́ ní bóyá bá mi ṣe bàtà yìí àyà mi máa já pé tí mo lè ṣe báyìí next thing to do màá lọ pè é pé alpha èèyàn báyìí o wọ́n ní kí bá wọn ṣe bàtà àjọ máa ṣe ni o based on say àjọ wà náà ni àjọ náà yẹn ní àjọ mọ ọwọ́ ara wa jù àjọ máa ṣe bàtà yìí ni so ó lè máa ní fine then a máa gbà a máa go through ẹ̀ pé báyìí máa ṣe lélẹ̀ even kò jẹ́ pé owó tó fún wa gan kò ká materials a máa ní láti tún fi owó wa ti wá sí based on say iṣẹ́ yẹn a fẹ́ mọ̀ a lè sọ pé àgbà a gbọ́dọ̀ gbà á ni káwọn náà lè sọ pé ó yá àti ń ṣiṣẹ́ bóyá jẹ́ 20 naira 15 naira la rí lórí ẹ̀ a satisfy pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. We thank God today pé àti àríra wọn bíbá ṣáà àti ìbádé bí àwọn ọdẹ ti ń ṣe àti fi ń ra nǹkan síra wa lára I think join together and besha, but most of my time kò lọ sọ́dọ̀ ọ̀gá mi. We are proud of our work cause akọ ademo I dey make any type of shoes, shoe palm, shoe, high heels, bags, divers shoe up and so on sha.
Ibi tí ẹ lè wá wá sí ní Lagos Alágbàdo. Ẹ lè get wa ní orí WhatsApp 08079507984. We are proud of our work and we are Shukoblast.
Yeah, we are brothers.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the number of unemployed persons has been quite unstable since 2001, but it has risen consistently from the rate of 23.9% seen in 2011 by about 10%, with the country's unemployment rate currently at 33%. Additional data from the NBS revealed 41.6% of the unemployed rated in 2010 were of age 15 to 24, with another 17% of the data made up of 25 to 44-year-olds.
That day I was scrolling on Instagram and I found it. So I was like, the fruit was used to boost libido. It makes husband and wife to enjoy themselves. And I picked attention on that one because I'm married. And I called my husband to help me to get the fruit because I don't know where to get it. My husband linked me to a man at Oyimbo Market in Lagos State, Nigeria for the fruit. But the man said that he doesn't have the fruit with him there. He gave us a contact in the north where we were able to buy 200 pieces. And since I bought the fruit, it was much that I was not able to consume it all alone. So I was like, okay, since nobody around here knows about it, let me start selling it. That's how I started selling Gorontula fruit. I started selling it bit by bit. As customers were increasing, as the thing is working what they said it will work. So people were putting more interest in it. From there, I became a wholesaler. I started buying it in bulk. People have a different way they make the syrup. And the syrup I have seen so far, they are not 100% Gorontula syrup. And no one to taught me how to make the syrup. I had to sit down by myself. I thought of so many things. I thought of how to process oil, red palm oil. I took the fruit. I took palm fruit. They both have similarities. After I was able to think of how to make the syrup, a customer came that she wants the syrup. And being that I'm just starting in making the syrup of a thing, she agreed that I will send it to her before she will pay me to see how the syrup is. And I made the syrup for her. I sent it to her, and up to today, as we are talking, she did not pay me my money. But I did not stop from there. I had so many challenges in making the syrup. One is the syrup, after like a week, without being in the freezer, it gets spoiled. So, but I didn't relent, though then I didn't have a freezer. I didn't relent. I keep on making it. I will just make it. Anytime a customer places an order, I will just make it for the customer and send to the customer. Making Gorontula syrup is a big stressful. But why I'm making it is because I love anything related to health. Because it has been my dream to be a medical doctor, but along the line, Nigerian way of going to school, I was not able to become a medical doctor. And since I started making the syrup, at least it has changed my life. It has made me to live a good, comfortable life. I distribute globally, but my major distributor is in the UK. You can find her on www.gorontulauk.com. You can also find me on Instagram, gorontula.undilutedhoney.
Really hard when you try to, let's say, make music after you have a master's and BSc, and your folks are like, "What are you doing?" You know, so that has a lot of effect on the artist. You know.
I think that's something I didn't think about.
Hello everyone, I'm Itonsa Oronsai, aka Crucifixo. I'm an artist from Lagos, Nigeria. One of the major challenges we face as artists in Nigeria is lack of support. That could come in like different forms, you know. It could be financial support, it could be support for the kind of art you're trying to do, and even emotional support, like from family and friends. That means a lot. In Nigeria, you have to be ready for anything. With regards to my music in particular, I have to be very intentional with how I create my music, because, you know, you're trying to communicate, and you can't just make the music in a vacuum. So I have to be very intentional with the words I use, how it comes across, you know, and how it's perceived. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. You know, simple things like just going to the studio, you have to like think of so many things, NEPA, how you're gonna get to the studio, you know, think about how loyal the producer is, because you can send somebody some money to get some stuff ready for you, and you know how Nigeria is. You might not get your work, so you have to be there, you have to be present. There's a lot of gatekeeping, and that cuts across, even outside music. People might have access to opportunities that might serve others better, and they hide it because they want to keep you under their thumb. They rather give those opportunities to people they can control. So that's a very big problem, you know. Another one is poverty. Generally, in Nigeria, we have like less than 20% of the population doing well. So you can imagine when you try to work with people that already have this mentality of just grabbing money fast, they just see you as a way of making money as opposed to creating music that can help people's lives. So that's a big problem, even outside music. People tend to cheat and cut corners a lot. It's like when you want things to happen, you do stuff, you effect change. You don't just wait for miracles to happen. So I think that's a problem that's really affecting us in Nigeria, because people are just sitting around waiting for some miracle to happen, whereas you can come together and make change. So things like that are things that I think about when I'm creating music. Aside like the idols I've had, you know, people that have come before me and I've learned from, I think what really motivates me is day-to-day life, you know. you look around you and you see people suffering, you see the collective mentality of the people, and you know that there's a lot that can be changed. So I think my major motivation is the potential for change, you know, like if I can change the way somebody thinks, if I can help somebody save their life, you know, just be a better person. I think that's what I'm here for. Not many people loved Fela when he was alive, you know, but today you can't deny his impact. Things he said decades ago, they're happening right now, and you can see it with your naked eyes. So, yeah, my music is going to speak to those who can hear me, ultimately. It's going to create value where it's needed, and you can tell the difference when you hear it. You feel it. Who am I? I'm just a brother with dreams. I'm barely over 6 feet. I feel like 2 Yao Mings. I came from the minuscule, heading to the pinnacle. People try to hate, so they pointing fingers ridicule. I know you feel me though. You come off like you critical. If truth be told, the people criticize the man they can't control. And everything rough in my city right now. Preacher man say, better keep your head up. Only 9 to 5, no fee buy you mansion. But the person with no work, no go see to chop. Looking for some love, make you check it junction. You go see the fast one after the transaction. Answers now, way too many lives lost. When the politician talk, we not pay attention. You can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Crucifixo. That's CRUCIFICXO, Crucifixo.
So Nora's Kitchen started like a joke. I remember in 2016, I was in my final year in the University of Lagos at the time, and I had this friend who had issues with his house cleaner, and he fired the guy. And so I stepped in. I'm like, okay, I can do it. And so I started cleaning his house, and I remember at the time he was paying me, like play. He referred me to 2 other friends of his, 2 other families, and I started cleaning 2 other houses. So that was 3 houses. And they paid me. At that time, I was making over 70,000 naira as a student. I felt some type of way telling anybody what I was doing at the time because I was supposed to be a Unilag girl. Being in the business for 6 years now, the major challenge I've had to face is electricity. I mean, God help you if you have mixed your cake batter and your cake is in the oven and then they take the lights. As in NEPA show themselves. That's the end. Your cake is gone. You have to start all over again. It means you have to start mixing all over again. Oh, speaking of mixing, the mixer needs electricity. It's powered by electricity. Now, even if you want to go the safer route by using a gas oven, gas isn't cheap, man. Another major challenge in this business is the constant rise in the cost of food and every other thing, baking materials, baking ingredients, everything. You go to the market today and the cost of, say, flour is 10 naira. You go to the market tomorrow or even in 2 days, in the same week, the cost of flour goes from 10 naira to 15 naira. I mean, this affects my price lists because, for example, I used to have a budget-friendly cake. I used to have budget-friendly cake options for birthdays and whatever celebrations. But in a country where the minimum wage is 33,000 naira, how do you explain to a customer that our budget-friendly cake is 10,000 naira? Things are ridiculously expensive. I find everything about cooking and baking, everything kitchen related, including going to the market, I find it all therapeutic. So if I'm having a bad day, I get myself into the kitchen and I cook something up. A lot of the times I create new recipe and then have my family members do the tasting. I remember my dad always says something about me using their tummy, their stomach for practical, because that's what I do. I mean, if they don't taste it, who will? Then I find this really easy. It's easy for me because I have the background, right? So my mom used to bake. I have her notes from back in the day, back when she was in school. So I took some of her recipes and then modified them and then created my recipe. And that's how you have Nora's Kitchen, the different stuff that we offer in Nora's Kitchen. I feel like if I didn't have Nora's Kitchen, I would have lost my mind. With the situation of the country right now, with the dollar rates right now and every other thing, but I'm proud of where I've gotten to now. I am so proud of how far I've come. I mean, my dad, who was like, you have to get a job, now he's my biggest supporter. I don't even take it for granted. Nobody else supports my business the way that my father does. My father roots for me so much. He's my biggest supporter, that's just it. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram at Nora's Kitchen. So it's KNORRAHSKITCHEN. That's Nora's Kitchen. Or you can send us a mail at noraskitchen@gmail.com. I got you.
Orúkọ mi ni Kẹ́hìndé Ajayi. I'm into screen printing and general printing. A máa ń ṣe nylon and print aṣọ, ṣe banner, souvenir. Ìrìn àjò mi ní screen ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní 2008. Ìgbà yẹn ni mo ṣe freedom December 2008. And after then, mo dẹ̀ a little bit ṣá mo dúró tí Ọlọ́run fi ṣòwò. Àtọ́ wá di 2010 tọ́lọ́run ṣòwò mo gba shop. Then ìgbà yẹn mo gbé ní Ṣómólú. So ìgbà yẹn mo wá gba shop sí Ṣómólú. Wọ́n pàdúgbò yẹn ní Market Street. Mo gba shop yẹn gbà yẹn. And mo wá ní colleague kan gbà yẹn bí senior mi ni ó wá tún jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n sí ọ̀rẹ́ mi. So mo wá gba shop yẹn mọ̀ pé okay tí mo yẹ ṣe freedom máa nídìí èèyàn tó dẹ́ pé àlejò máa ṣe at least kò kí n ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tí èèyàn bá lọ kọ́ lèèyàn máa mọ̀ tán. Wàá tún kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sí lọ́dọ̀ èèyàn tí ó bá mọ̀ kó tún mọ̀ jù ẹ lọ. So bí mi àti ẹni yẹn mo ṣáà gba shop yẹn mo set necessary things tó I need kó lè wà ń bẹ̀. Mo set everything síbi bẹ́ẹ̀. A dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ a dẹ̀ ń ṣe lọ wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́. Bí 5 years ago mo tún padà pàdé èèyàn ní Ẹgbẹ́dá tó náà wá ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn. So ojú dẹ̀ ti là ti wà ní technology things tẹ́ pọ́n ti ń lo more machine. So òun náà tó wá ń ṣe graphic design. Iṣẹ́ kankan jáde ńgbà yẹn ó dẹ̀ pè mí torí mo sọ pé kọ́tẹ́mi náà ṣe lélẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ pè mí a dẹ̀ gbaṣẹ́ overtime kan gbà yẹn. A dẹ̀ ṣe ó dẹ̀ tó pa okay o má bọ̀ jẹ́ ká jọ ṣe o. So from there bá ti ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ partnership mi àti ẹni ó wá ní shop tó yẹ pé ibi bẹ̀ èmi náà máa ń gbéṣẹ́ and àti gbà yẹn tó máa dẹ̀ ti ń ṣe everything ti ń go well despite the situation of the country. A máa ń face a lot of challenges gan. Number one, iná. A need iná gan. Iná dẹ̀ máa ń fún wa ní wàhálà gan. For like bí 3-4 months báyìí sí iná yẹn ò tiẹ̀ wà stable rárá and we need to be buying fuel láti fi run graphics láti lè fi máa heat. Iná yẹn wàhálà ni fún wa. Tàbá dẹ̀ ra epo náà tàbá níṣẹ́ gidi a day à ń ra epo tó 3,000 naira. Nígbà kan gan mo tiẹ̀ fi sílẹ̀ for sometimes. Fẹ́ pé for like some years mo filẹ̀ àti gbogbo challenges yẹn pọ̀ but nǹkan tó yẹ pé mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí ni tí mo jẹ̀yà kọ́ ni ẹ mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ téèyàn bá fọ tó yẹ pé o lọ kọ́ tó tún wá padà tó tún ṣe freedom tó náwó lé lórí kò easy fún yàn pé o fẹ́ fi sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ and for situation kan tí country wa wà báyìí sí iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ó ti wá di nǹkan tó yẹ pé èèyàn everybody ń sá lọ sí ibi ibẹ̀ nísìn so bí mo ṣe sá lọ mo lè rò pé eléyìí máa padà síbẹ̀. Last year yes iṣẹ́ nylon kan dẹ̀ wọlé bí 50,000 pieces ẹni kà bóun ṣe ńlá ká ṣe banana size polybag size fashion missionary different sizes ló gbé wá àdè bá ṣe so irú àwọn big contract yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tí irú àwọn yẹn bá ń wá ọkàn èèyàn máa balẹ̀ èèyàn máa irú àwọn situation tí èèyàn bá ń face níbẹ̀ èèyàn lè dojú kọ wọ́n èèyàn lè solve and time bí election ládẹ̀ tún wà yìí nísìnyí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣaṣọ wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe banner wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe t-shirt wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe cap so irú àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tó bá gbé wá fún wọn wọn ò ní ṣe pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe 100 àwọn yẹn máa ṣe large quantities yẹn dẹ̀kẹ̀ ibẹ̀ làwọn náà máa ti rí owó tẹ́ pé àwọn afẹ́ pé yes nǹkan tí iṣẹ́ tí mo gbà owó tí mo fi ṣe lélẹ̀ à lè tọ́ka sí pé nǹkan báyìí ni mo fi rà nǹkan báyìí ni mo fi ṣe. Tí ẹ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ contact me for more jobs or more enquiries mo wà lórí Twitter ejire100 lórí Twitter lórí Instagram k.twins27 lórí Instagram and phone number mi my contact is 08020744401.
Through the course of this project, my major challenge was finding a youth who is a graduate and works in the field of what he or she had studied in the university because they are passionate about the subject. This mission failed as I was quickly made to realize that many youths go to the university caring very less about the course they pick because within the Nigerian workforce, employers only concern is that you hold a certain level of qualification. What you studied in most cases is of less concern.
Yo, my name is Abiodun Michael. I'm 20 years old. When I finished school, so I moved down here with my sister. So when she's moving back to Ogun State, so I decided to stay here because I know there is no work there. I know some of my age guys, some of the guys outside, they make money with computers. Yoruba used to say, "One in Koti about fi a chef in Peloweni," because that word is a key point. Yeah, I have interest in doing mechanical engineering to study more in school, but everything is cost, and there is no assistance in this.
After asking so many questions and getting a gazillion responses, there are even more questions to be asked. Ones that keep ringing in my head includes how the line which separates entrepreneurship from employment in Nigeria is gradually getting thinner and blurrier. Is this good or bad for the nation? Should we be concerned that many of our youth spend 3 years and over in higher education studying courses which in most cases ends up being irrelevant at their point of employment? What are the implications on our educational system, our national workforce, and our society as a whole? So many questions left unanswered, except one.
Time's up, they don't understand it because we had fear. They took us off for granted until we started acting up, got them in a panic. We come together strong, they cannot imagine. It's a new dawn, you can feel the magic. When the laser you work, we can save the planet. Love is a weapon, our unity is a blessing. It's the same reason they want us to hate each other. If we stay divided, our voices just won't matter in order to stand a chance.